All right. So hello everyone. I'm Helena, and I'm recording this session. This is our second session on Cognos analytics. All right. So this is the agenda. We're gonna talk about the decision tree models in more details. We touched it last time. We're gonna talk about dashboards and infographics. We'll talk about the stories and of course your questions. All right. So, but before we do that, I have to make some important reminders. I may sound like a broken record, but please, please, please do not change your Cognos Analytics password because sometimes me or Mike, we need to log into your account to troubleshoot. All right. And please save all your work and close everything that you have opened before you log out. And when you log out, you want to actually log out. Do not exit application just by closing the browser tab, right? So when you click on the top right, there is an option to log out. Just do that. Do not click on the browser X button, all right? And then please do not call UMGC help desk. You have a form, Salesforce form in the classroom. That's how you submit the tickets and you get your help faster, all right? Because if you call, it goes to another department. Also, make sure to choose the virtual lab for case type, okay? Now, this is important. I need to tell you up front, so there are no issues later on. Uh, Cognos Analytics account will be purged 3 weeks after the class ends, usually. Unless there are some exceptions. If you're retaking the course in the fall, I'll keep your account and you keep all your work, right? If you need an extended access, your instructor must submit the request, okay? So please, no surprises, just know it. And please, please pay attention to course announcements and email from your instructors about the Cognos Analytics status, because we had a situation when we had to block everybody's accounts because we needed nobody else in the system to fix what was going on. But people kept on not listening, and they kept on attempting to log in when we asked not to. So we had to take some more. We had to take a different approach. Okay, so just please pay attention to announcements. Okay, so now going back to what we did last time, we are working with claims and weather data. The data stores, it has customer information such as demographics, right, and their income. It has an information on their car, the vehicle that the customer drives, information on a specific accident, and from that, we are trying to estimate what the total claim amount could be, right? So we started the exploration for that data, and we're gonna jump now into the decision tree. A lot of it, some of it is gonna be a review, and then we go more in depth. So, what you remember is that we had something called the data. We'll be looking at the data exploration, right? Then, do you remember that when we looked at the drivers, right? So this is a spiral diagram. We looked at the drivers. One driver is a single column, right? It's a single column that could have relationships with the columns that we're trying to predict. Two drivers is a combination of two columns, and the green one, it's a multiple columns. So if I unclick this, uncheck this, so here you want to make a notice that location code has the highest predictive strength, right? Then comes vehicle class, right? So those are the one column drivers. And you want to note the one that has the highest predictive strength. Why? Because when we start looking at the decision tree, this is a column that will be used for the first split in the tree. Okay? So then we build the actual decision tree, right? Yes, we did. Okay, I have it here. Nope, that's not it. Okay, if you didn't, if I, okay, here it is. Okay, I can go ahead and rebuild if I don't. Okay, I found it. There we go. That's a card that we're looking at, and I'm gonna be looking at the tree diagram right now. I'll minimize this, and I'm going to close this, and I'm also gonna go into the full screen. So when you are doing taking the screenshot for your assignment, you may want to go to the full screen for decision tree, because that way it's easier to read the column names, right? So here it is. So remember that this node on the left-hand side, it represents all data that you have, right? So if I hover, it's gonna tell me the average total claim amount for the whole data, right? It's $433. Then it also tells me that this node represents the whole data. See this number of rows, and it's 100%. Now remember that we took a note that location type was the first. It was a column with the highest predictive strength, right? So it's used as the first column in a split here. Then we take the path depending on if the location type is rural, urban, or suburban, right? So this is a tree, and remember that you can collapse the nodes, right? That's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna collapse it to show you. Okay, see that the nodes can be expanded and collapsed, right? And we continue traversing the trees until we reach the terminal node. So here, if location is rural, then we are done, right? How do we know that we are done? Because that node, rural node, does not have an underline under it. So if the node has an underline, right, it means that it can be expanded. If there is no underline, it means it's a leaf node, or also called the terminal node. So that means that if location is rural, we have, see that if location is rural, this is going to be the estimated total claim amount. You need to click on this, and it's gonna pop up. It's gonna show you, if you hover, right, click, it's gonna show you the average total claim amount. Like for example, this one's location is urban, right? So you see it, average total claim amount was $329. You see that? It pops up. And it shows you the percentage of data that falls under that branch. So we know that it can be expanded further, right? Because I saw the line. Then it's looking at the vehicle class, if it's a two-door car or if it's a luxury car, right? Something like that. But again, this is not just a luxury car, it's a luxury cars within the urban location, right? And you can click here on the terminal nodes just to highlight the rule, highlight the pass, okay? Uh, Now, what happens when one location is suburban? It's more interesting, right? Because you got more options here. So now here, location is suburban, and it's a two-door or four-door car. We take this pass here. But because you see that on that line here, it means that this node can be expanded further. Then you're gonna look at the coverage type. If it's a basic, extended, right, or premium. Then if it's extended, for example, you're done, right? Because there is the node is not expandable anymore. But if it's basic, you keep going. Jesus, you click here, you highlight this rule, and you're gonna read it this way. If location is suburban, vehicle class is a two-door or four-door, right? That's how it grouped this. And coverage type, right, is basic. Marital status is single. Then the average total claim amount is $450.19. Right? So basically, the darkness of the color tells you the total claim amount. And you see this, you have a little legend here. And note here that the most expensive vehicles, the most expensive claims are if location is suburban, vehicle class is luxury SUV, right? Then you keep going, and you can look at the employment status is the next, right? Employed and unemployed. Apparently unemployed has higher claims, and there's only 1% of data that falls under it. Right, total 88 records. It means that we can expand more. But if the nodes, any node cannot have less than 25 records. So it's gonna attempt to make it's gonna attempt to uh, it's gonna attempt to split the node more, but then it's gonna see, less than 25 records. So let's collapse back. All right. So the splitting criteria is the node cannot have less than 25 records, and also whenever you use another splitting column, it should gain the information, right? There's something called the information gain, right? So it's gonna try to pick the column, it's gonna split on a column that yields in the highest information gain. And also note how it groups the vehicle category, vehicle classes together. We did not do the binning on that column. Cognos it's trying to bin it for us. See, we did not define it. It's doing its grouping two-door car and four-door car together. See, then the here it's SUV, luxury SUV, sports car, and luxury car. It's binning this for you. All right, just know that part here. It does not look at each value separate like here for the location. It's gonna do the binning. Okay, and here this is same thing for the effective due date for the coverage. All right, so this is one way to see the rules, and I'm gonna collapse this, collapse, collapse, and I'll show you why I'm doing it, because I want to be looking at a different way. So remember, the tree diagram shows the rules, the actual rules with rowers. But the sunburst visualizations shows the percentage, the portion of data to which the rule applies. So if I look at this, I'm gonna know that about 2/3 of my claims are coming from suburban location, right? Also take a look, there is a little line, right? The borderline. If you see that, it means that section is expandable. So see that this little slice, this big slice in here, corresponds to this last branch of the tree. If I hover, it tells me it's 63% of data, right? Same thing, when I go to the sunburst, this is also 63% of data. But here you are visualizing not the rule, but rather the percentage of data to which the rule applies. So now I can click here and I'm going to expand, but I'm only expanding the suburban location. Then within the suburban location, not for all locations, but only within the suburban location, we're looking at percentage of data where the car is a luxury or SUV, right? So it's using vehicle class. Then here is another one, and here is another one, right? Different costs. But see, we would have to read this diagram, you would have to go from inside out. So see that, and then also I could look at the urban location if I wanted to, but over here, two-door or four-door vehicle, that applies only to the urban location, see that? And rural location does not expand. As I expand this here, my tree diagram also expands, see? So that's why in one of the videos where I show decision tree, I try to look at these two visualizations at the same time, right? And another part is that you have rules written in English language. See, this is a predicted value, estimated of total claim amount. And this is, let's say, maybe the group of cars, the category of cars to which the rule applies. Like, for example, if you are in a suburban location and the vehicle class is SUV or luxury car, and if the person, the customer is employed or on medical leave or disabled or retired, in this case, this is the average total claim amount, right? So that's how you use it. Suppose that I have a brand new claim. How do I estimate the total claim amount? I'm going to try to find to which description, which set of rules my new car fits better. And based on that, I'm going to estimate my total claim amount. Hopefully it makes sense, right? For the tree, we traverse the tree from left to right. For the sunburst, we look at it from inside out. And those are the rules. You can sort by the predicted value. And you can see that location code rural is the lowest average total claim amount. All right. So this was for numeric column, right? Some of the dataset options that you have for the last reassignments have a predictor. The column that you're going to be predicting is not numeric. Sometimes it's possible that the column that you're predicting is a categorical, right? Like, for example, you want to predict if the network attack is persistent or not persistent, right? So you have two labels. So how do we work with decision trees for categorical data? Well, similar concept. I go to my cards and I have created the decision tree for categorical data. Well, just imagine I want to predict the employment status, right? So let's click on this card. So this is our tree diagram. This is a little bit different. For categorical column, each class, each category is represented with a different color, okay? So you have a different color for each category. You also start traversing the data from the left side. This node is representing all data, right? And here it tells you the total number of records, right? It's 91,136. That's the total number of records, which represents 100% of data. Then this here, it breaks down how many records do you have for each value of employment status. Like, for example, you have 405 records for disabled, right? 56.99 for employed, 432 for medical leave, well, and etc., right? Then what you do is the first split in here apparently is an income. And here, if the income is above 44,000, then it's gonna take this pass here. And we are done, right? 100% of people with that income are employed. See that? It's gonna do that. But please take a note that income is a numeric column. Cognos Analytics made that binning for us. See that? Here, this one here, this is income that is above 44,000. Here it took less than 28,000, but here it's between 28,000 and 44. See that? So it did the binning for us. We did not do the binning. Okay, it binned it for us, but I'm trying to collapse this tree here. And the same way, similar, if you see the underline, it means that that node can be expanded. But take a look at that. So here, this gives you the breakdown, percentage of data, right? Out of those 40% of data, this is a breakdown for how many records do you have with each value. But again, earlier, we looked at the percentages for overall data. Right now, I'm looking only at the percentages for under $25,000 for income, right? So we traverse the tree based on the values, right? So here, first split was income. I continue, right? Then we're looking at the marital status. And what is actually the employment status? The actual employment status is going to be the one that has the highest number of records. Like you can see here that unemployed is dominant, right? However, apparently region gives more information, more Here, instead of information gain, we're looking at the classification error, right? So it's going to attempt to define the rules in a way that minimizes the classification error. So we're going here, we're taking on a region, oh, I'm sorry, it's a response, right? Response no. So then for response no, it's unemployed. Then we're going to look at the response here. And it expands further. It's looking at the effective to date and note that it's been the effective to date for us. We did not bin it. The algorithm did it for us, and it tells you also the percentage of data to which the rule applies. To read these rules, I would have to select here. I click here, then I can read it. If income is under $25,000, marital status is single, and response is no, then my dominant category, my dominant employment status is unemployed. So here you're predicting the label, if you will, right? For numeric columns, you are predicting, you're estimating the value. So just keep that in mind. And you also get the sunburst diagram that's going to show, it shows the percentage of rules the percentage of data to which the rule applies. See that? So just know that you have three ways to represent. One way is a decision tree, another way is a sunburst, and yet another way is rules in English language. All right, just know that. Remember what target is? Target is the column that is being predicted. In this case, I'm just doing employment status. I had to pick something categorical because the data that you're going to be working, there are several choices, and some of them have categorical columns that you are predicting. So that's why I took a little bit of time to show you how it works for categorical. Okay? So now take a look here. This is our exploration workbook. We have a bunch of cards. We use exploration to get insights about our data, right? However, we cannot add any text, we cannot add any images, we cannot change how our visualizations appear. Like for example, you're stuck with a purple color, you cannot change the color, you cannot add background color, you cannot change labels. You cannot do the layouts. There is no way to highlight a single data point and make the same data point to be selected in other visualizations, right? There is no way to break visualizations into tabs. I cannot apply the filter to all visualizations at once if I wanted to, right? Just talking about the limitations here. So, but before we do anything, remember last time I mentioned there are pins. Pins as a visualization set aside. So I created a set of visualizations here, and I want to be able to reuse some of these visualizations in a dashboard that I'm going to create. We are leading into dashboard topics, but just think about it this way. I have a visualization and I want to be able to reuse it. I don't want to repeat my work, right? So how can we do that? I would need to add the visualizations to the pins, right? So like for example, like anything, this one or any visualizations. Let's pick the total claim amount, right? So this one is a drivers, and I want to reuse it in my dashboard, right? So what do I do is there is something called pin. I click on this, and it's gonna add these visualizations to my visualization set aside. Those are the pins that I have added before. And sometimes as you're working, you're gonna have more and more pins. And suppose that you don't remember what you called it, but you remember that you saved it today. You can do this. You can filter the pins by the days when you saved it. I remember I saved it today, so I'm gonna select it today and I see it, right? And you can also search Here you can search by the pin name. If you know what the pin name is, like total claim amount, you can do the search for it. All right. So now I want to clear this filter. Just gonna select all. It's gonna show me all. And we're gonna be using this visualization set aside. So just bear with me here. Now what? Well, let's close this for right now, and I'll show you something for your next 3 assignments. You're gonna go in here. You're gonna go data for 605 assignments, and you have several options for the data sets. If you copied those data sets more than a couple weeks ago, more than a week ago, just know that I added new data set. I added the coffee chain data set recently. All right. So here are the choices. What you need to do is you need to choose one. I know sometimes it's hard to choose, but choose one and use it for the remaining 3 assignments. All right. So you have one, for example, this one. Here you have 3 choices in this data. You can predict the car horsepower, you can predict the car efficiency on a highway, or you can predict the car efficiency in the city roads, right? So you need to explain what your choice is. Right? So for some of the data sets, you can read, I put some hints, what needs to be predicted, right? So you have like student academic success, you have that one is on the networking, etc. So uh, what you need to what you need to do is just pick one. Look through what you have and choose one, and stay with one for the 3 assignments. Okay? So I was talking about the limitations. The exit full screen. Okay. I was talking about the limitations of the data exploration, and we were talking about the decision tree. So those are the notes for you. Okay? You can have these notes on the decision trees. All right, this is for you. I did not put notes for the categorical, but you will have the recording. Those are the rules, right? I talked about the sunburst. Oh, one thing that I did not tell you was that you can, let's go back to the data exploration. In your decision tree, when you go to the decision tree, if you look at the fields here, there is a property where you can choose. See this, I can do edit scope here. And in here, I can select which columns I don't want to use for my analysis. Sometimes I can state which columns I want to exclude from analysis, right? Like for example, I want to exclude claim amount. To do that, you would click on this minus sign, right? Or if you want to include something that's not recommended to you, that's not selected by default, you can also do it. You would need to just take this column and drag and drop into this area, okay? So just know it, you can control which columns you're using, okay? All right, I'll save it and, oops, cancel. I have to save, my mistake, and close. Okay, close it. So now we're gonna get to the next topic of the night is dashboards. Why do we create dashboards? We create dashboards to present the insights about the data. It's a you add visualizations and add the attractive layout. For example, you can change the theme, you can change the visualization properties, you can change the alignment. Then you may add the text widgets such as images, right? Or you cannot copy and paste the image, but you can add the link to the image from online. You can reuse the visualizations from the exploration. Just you can do copy and paste, or the best way is to add them to pins and to reuse them from the pins. Unlike explorations, dashboard has a view mode and edit mode. View mode is obviously when you just preview it as a user, as an end user. Edit mode is when you are adding visualizations to your dashboard, making changes. You may undo, redo your latest changes up to the moment when you closed and reopened the file, right? So if I did something and if I close my file, when I reopen the file, I will not be able to undo the changes I made before closing the file. Okay, just know that. Then, similar to explorations, you can create calculations and you can add navigation paths. Well, however, any calculations that you add to the dashboard will be available only to that dashboard. All right, but what if I want to create another dashboard from the same data source and I want to have the same calculation? Then I better add these calculations to the data module that we use as a source for the dashboard, right? So now let's create dashboard. There are more than one way to create the dashboard. Of course, you can click on the new and select dashboard. You can do it, right? Or remember that main menu, you can do this. Go here, click new and select dashboard. But the problem is if you do it this way, you will have to specify what data you want to use for your dashboard, right? But it's gonna be like, is it this one? Is it that one? No. Is it this one? No. Is it that one? You're gonna be second guessing, right? That's why I try to stay away from this approach kind of, because see now here I know that this is my data, right? Right. This is the data that I want to use for my dashboard. I know it. So why not to click on this menu here and say create dashboard? Why not to do it this way? See, it's going to pick up the data that I'm looking for. But here, there are two types of dashboards. We're going to be using TOPS dashboard in this course. But just to know, the difference, infographic is a long page. It's a single page, see? Tabs, it consists of tabs. You split visualizations into tabs. The similarity is that both have predefined templates. Both you can reuse visualizations. You can add the filter to both, but for infographic, you can add a filter to all visualizations or to individual visualization. You cannot add the filter to the subset of visualization. With a tab, as you will see, we can add a filter to a single tab, all tabs of single visualization. So just note, but another main reason we're using tab in this course is because tab dashboard can be saved as a story. So what you will do is you're gonna do, promise me you're gonna do a great job for your week 7 assignment. If you do a great job during that week 7, your uh, week 8 assignment is gonna be easy. Because what you will have to do is you will have to take your dashboard and convert it to the story and add some timeline. I'm gonna show you, no worries. But here I selected tabbed. What is this? Remember this. This is a free-form layout, and those are the predefined templates. When you select these predefined templates, your visualization size and the panel size will be adjusted based on your screen size, right? Well, sometimes you might be unsure of which template to select. I like 2x2 because sometimes if you put too many visualizations on the same page, the page might take forever to load. So I'm just going to be careful. And also, you don't want it to be cluttered. You don't want the visualizations to be hard to read, okay? So I'm going to select this, okay? And I'm going to click on create. This will create our first dashboard with a single tab. That's what I'm expecting. Now what? Well, some of it sounds familiar, doesn't it? What what is this? What is this? This is a data module, right? That we defined in the last class, last session. Remember, we created the standalone calculation for total claim, all right, overall average total claim amount. what else did we do? We created the data group for the policy column. We also created the numeric data group, right? This is a number of policies. We did that binning. And what is this? This is a filter, right? But if I did not put the descriptive name for this filter in the data module, there is no way in the world to know what this is. You would have to go back to the data module to see how it's defined, right? But that's not what not something we want to do. I want to look at it here and I want to know what it is, right? So here we've got all our columns, and we also got the navigation path because we added this in the data module. And again, you can search for the column if you don't quite remember the column name. This is familiar, right? This one is a filters area, the area where you define the filters, and we're going to look at filters demo as well. But this can be closed, right? So now this is the first tab. I can add multiple tabs in here. So I'm going to click here to add a new tab, and you can select the same or different layout. This is our second tab, and at any time, if I don't like the tab name, see this? When I click here, there is a choice to edit title. There's a choice to duplicate the tab. You can delete the tab or you can change the tab template. Okay, if you change your mind about 2 by 2, you can change the template. I mentioned that dashboard has properties. The properties depend on what you're currently looking at. So when I click on the properties here, at the moment, I'm looking at the properties of overall canvas, right? Such as page size, if you want to show the grid, and this one is a tabs properties also. Tabs label where you want to position the tabs. I want to position them in here, tab 1, tab 2, and if you wanted to, you can reposition the tabs. See, you got those options. You can style, you can change the color. Like for example, I want the tab name to appear in red, so I'm gonna change this color to red. I want to show which tab was selected in the green. Well, this is just an example. I'm not making the traffic light here, but I'm just saying you can change the color of the tab text and the underline selection, right? Or and also you can change the tab fill color, right? But remember that this is kind of like hurting the eyes, right? You want to make sure any color that you select makes what you're doing readable. The text must be readable. If it's not, then you know what's going to happen, right? So here I applied the styling to both tabs. I can also apply the styling to the individual tabs, right? I can change the color. So see here, it inherited from what I just did, right? I'm gonna keep it the same, but for the icon, I can select the paperclip. See, I'm just showing what can be done. That's all. I can adjust. I can change properties, and I'm gonna let you play around with the properties. So next thing is that let's add visualizations. How to add visualizations? Multiple ways. First of all, remember we have these pins here. I can just take this and I can add this pin. See this? That was a trim up. Then I have to hover over the arrow. If I position my cursor over the arrow, then the visualization size, it's going to be the size of this panel. It's going to be doing it for me, right? Also, you can add your visualization just by creating new visualization. Here is the visualizations, available visualizations, and one of the available visualizations is a pie chart. So I can select the pie chart and I'm going to drag and drop. Now what? Why don't I see my pie chart? Because I did not specify which fields I want to visualize. So see, I selected this visualization, or I can expand it. Now I need to specify which fields I'm using for the segments. and which field I'm using for the segment size, right? One way to do that would be to go here and you want to find, like I want my segment to be the state, right? Or the state code. I can find it and I can drag and drop here. Another way is like what I'm gonna do with the size. I want the size to be the number of people, right? So let's see, let's select the person here, person. If I don't remember what I spelled it, I'm just gonna say person, person, oops. It's customer, it's called customer, sorry, customer. This is customer, see? So I can select it from here. So I have two ways to do it. I can drag and drop, or I can just go in and select. This is a pie chart, right? But remember this. The pie chart, the purpose of the pie chart is to show the percentages of data, right? So see here, this is the state code, and I want to see the percentage of customers in each state. But how do we know that it's percentage of customers instead of percentage of claims? Let's take a look at how our summary is being summarized. If I look at the summarized, right, it's doing the count distinct. Remember that each customer may have more than one claim. So if I'm doing the count distinct, that I'm looking at number of customers. If I'm doing count, that I'm going to be looking at number of claims, right? So we're analyzing the customers. But again, the purpose of the pie chart is to show the percentage. We can fix it, right? So I'm going to go here to the properties. And again, the properties depend on visualizations that you are working with. For the pie chart, we have the color palette. Then we have the legend where you want to see show the legend, and you've got the different options. You can hide it or you can show it, right? In my case, I want to show it. Then uh, here you can change where the legend is positioned. That it's right now it's a default, but I can change it to the bottom, for example, because sometimes legend, see here, if it's at the top, it's the first thing that gets into my eyes, right? So I want it to be not first things that gets into my eyes. Well, just just an example, okay? Now I can go down. There is a section here called chart. Here, this is specific for this chart. And now there is a setting to display the percentages. I need to turn it on so that way I'm gonna see the percentages, not the numbers. Because I don't want to be using my calculator to recalculate, right? I want to see percentages rather. So then you can also, if you want to, you can change the radius and it's gonna look like a donut. See, this is a default radius. I can change it a bit. Oh, and then here you can see another label that shows the total number of records, right? Right, so you see that piece here. You can also add the title, right? So it's in the general should be. Oh, that's a general appearance of the chart. I can add the fill color. I can add the border color, right? And I can do more. I can just play around with this. But also see this the title. I double click to get this text details. You have this little bar here. You can edit it here, or you can edit it here. It opens the text detail properties. Perhaps I want my title to be centered. I can do that, or I can do it left alignment, and I can change it to bold. I can change the color. See, so this is just for the text, and it's also here. Now, Yelena has been telling you to save the work. Did she save the work herself? No. How do you know she didn't save the work? Well, because there is an asterisk next to the dashboard name, and also kind of like, what's a new dashboard? What is this? It's not descriptive, right? So we have to name it as something descriptive. I'm gonna click here on this floppy disk and I'm gonna save it. And the name is gonna be claims and weather dashboard, something like that. Let's say claims dashboard. Claims dashboard, okay? Now take a look at this. Why do you think the save button is gray out? Think about it. Take some time to think about it. Because where am I trying to save? And do I have permissions to save there? No, right? I cannot save to the team content. I need to select my content. Then I'm gonna click save. Okay? And see this, you're gonna see this pop up. Then it saved correctly. This is an informative message. This message is not an error. Okay? Just know it. It just tells you that the work was saved. Now, you might be wondering what happened to another visualization that I added to my dashboard. Why did it disappear? No, it did not. You minimize this and you're gonna see two visualizations that you just added. Okay, so that's one way to add. Another way to add visualizations. You can also what you can also do is you can use your little friend over there at the top, the assistant, right? And you can add, similarly, you could add your visualizations from assistant. Notice that similarly to what you saw in the exploration, assistant picks up the data that you're currently looking at. You don't need to specify the data set, right? It's really nice. It picked up the data. See, and the same thing, it shows you about the fields and their data types. I can click on show more to see more columns, right? Then for example, I'm interested in what total claim amount, right? So let's see, it's here. I'm going to click on that and it tells me just the usage, the data types, etc. about this column. Then it tells me which columns I could also be looking at. And it also tells me what influences total claim amount. So I can click on that. Now I know that, well, I'm going to pick location code because I know that it was the strongest predictor. Then what you can do is you can just take this piece here, drag and drop to your to your dashboard. Okay? What you could also do is this. There is a way to create new dashboard. See? There is a way to add new dashboard. Like add this visualization. So just know it. You can add the visualization to new dashboard or you can use assistant to create the brand new dashboard. So just know that this way. I'm not doing it, I'm just adding my visualizations from the beginning. Okay? So you can add it, you know that you can add visualizations like this, right? From assistant. You can also add visualizations from scratch. You can add the visualizations from pins. Then you can copy the existing visualization and customize it, right? Let's go back to our slides. Sometimes I go a little bit in different order, but some topics can be covered in different order. Oh, so I may have forgotten to show you that you've got this here save. You have this undo redo, right? Then what's happening is that you have your widgets are connected. So if I was going to select this state here, all my visualizations will be filtered to that state. See, I can select the data point in one visualization and the same data point is selected in other visualization. So that's a whole point here, all right? All the visualizations in the same dashboard that use the same data as a source are connected, all right? So next thing is, let's go back. I will show you how to do filters shortly. I showed you how to save the dashboard, right? I showed you this dashboard properties. You can also change the whole language if you want. I showed you how to add visualizations just by adding them from scratch. You can also duplicate the same visualization and edit it, right? And just by drag and drop fields, you can do that too. All right, and this is how to use the visualization library. you pick the visualization that you like and you drag and drop. And that will add that visualization. But remember, you have to specify the columns. You have remember that the section where you specify the columns, some data slots, they have asterisk. It means that you must provide the field. You must provide something or you're not going to see visualization, remember? So I showed you how to create visualization from the library, right? I showed the visualization in the focus mode. You just minimize the visualization, right? So, but see this here, if you see the asterisk, it means that you must specify the column in there. If you don't select the column, you cannot see the visualization. And here I just spell out different properties of the pie chart. But again, if I was going to do all visualization types, we would be here until tomorrow evening. So, I get excited. Okay, I showed you how to use pins, have I? You just drag and drop the visualization from pins. Right? Did I show you that? Well, if I did not, I can show you again. So I go to my pins here and I want to use this. I can just drag and drop my pin here and I position my mouse over this arrow because I want this visualization to fit into this panel. Okay, that's a visualization. Well, of course, this one has less properties because it's just not, there is no color codes, etc. This visualization has less properties than the other ones. See here, you're looking at you changing the heading, you can change the colors, etc. So I'll let you play around. But just know that the properties are different based on the visualization that you're looking at, all right? So that's that. Okay, adding text. Let's add a text here. You don't just jump in and type, right? So what you need to do is you go back to this, it's in a widgets. You take this text widget and you're gonna do this drag and drop and you're gonna add text. And I'm gonna put I love data 605, but please, 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 please do not tell anything to my 650 and 665 students because they're gonna be upset with me, okay? Don't tell them that I love data 605 because I like them also. Please don't tell, but anyway, I love data 605, so that's what I put here, okay? So there we go, see, that's a text. Easy, right? And what properties can you change? Well, I'm gonna click on the properties. See here, I can change the text color. I can change the style, right? I can change the font. I can change the alignment. There is a horizontal alignment and a vertical alignment, right? I can change the inner margins. See all of that. And there's some general properties such as appearance, the fill color, the border color, etc. See, I'll let you play around with this. Now for the image, I mentioned that you cannot copy and paste the picture directly. What you do need to do is you add this control here. Then you need to go online and you need to find the picture, but the way it's done, it's gonna depend on the browser that you use. In this browser, let's say I want to look at the car accident, right? Image, right? So I'm gonna look at this. So this is the image car accident. I have to go here and I need to do copy link. This is a little bit tricky. Then in another browser, I copy that link and I delete all the stuff until I hit that GPG. Because this is a GPG file probably. I have to delete all of this until I see the file extension. This is how it works on this one. I may have missed it, see? I may have missed it. So basically, you need to find the URL of this image. I can try to do it this way. I can try to maximize it. Then I can right click. Oh, in here, you can do copy image link. See, you can try that. But see, the way you do it, the way you get the URL, it depends on a browser. Oh, see here, that worked. This is much better. That worked, right? So see, this is an image URL. What I did was I just clicked on the image and right click here and I got the image link. Okay? So this, but how do I, before you paste this URL into Cognos, what you want to do is in a browser, do the test. Make sure that URL is working. Okay? Uh, Make sure I typed the letter 4 by accident. So you make sure that URL is working. Okay, so this is a working URL. I see my picture here. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna paste that URL. See? Now I'm showing the image. I don't copy and paste the image, I put the URL. Remember that, okay? And I do have a video on images and on text. Remember, I have the videos playlist, right? Okay. But please, on this slide, please do not show the slide to my 650 or my 65 students because they're gonna get jealous. Okay, now, so this is just how to add an image. You can also add a video, right? You can add a link to the video. The visualizations are linked, as I showed you. When I select one data point in one visualization, the same data point will be selected in the others, as long as they use the same data, right? It's possible to use more than one data module in the same dashboard, all right? So just know that the visualizations are linked as long as you are using the same data source for that dashboard, okay? Now I'm gonna show you how to do filters, and I created different dashboard for that demo. So let me close this out, and I have this, I called it for filters demo, something like that. Oops, see here, dashboard filters demo. So let me show you something here. I have dashboards, right? Remember this. I can select, I told you earlier, I can select one data point, right? The state, and it's gonna select the same state in other visualizations if I have them, right? If I have, it's gonna adjust this for the state. See, it's adjusted. I selected the state, my numbers got adjusted for that specific state. I unselect, see, it's gonna, because I'm using the same source as the data. I've got two tabs in here. I purposely, on purpose, I copied this visualization. This one, I copied it on purpose on the second tab because I'm gonna show you how to use the filters. But now I'm gonna say, wait a minute, why I don't see what's going on? Why cannot I edit my dashboard? I cannot see, it's just not editable. Why? Why? Because I have to make the dashboard in edit mode. See, that's here, this thing here is not green. I have to click here. Now I can edit my dashboard. And let's say I want to filter this dashboard by the state, right? So I have to go to my fields, right? This is my data. I need to find the state, and I can just, once I find the state, let me search for it. State, okay, state code. I can take that and I can drag it. Oops, that's a navigation path. Wrong. I have to look at this one here. State or the state code. It does not matter which. I do the state code, right? And I want to filter by Iowa and Missouri, and I'm gonna click done. What's happening right now? Take a look where I put this filter. I put this in all tabs, which means that if I go to my second tab, I also see this filtered for Iowa and the Missouri, right? Because I put it to both tabs. Now what I can do, let's delete this filter for right now, and I'm gonna re-add the filter again, but at this time, I'm gonna add this to this tab only. And I want to see Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Missouri. And I'm gonna click on done. I selected these 3 states and I see only 3 states. But when I go back to my tab 2, I still see all the states. Why? Because I defined the filter just on that specific tab, right? That's it. I didn't define my filter on all tabs this time. What you could also do is you can define the filter only for specific visualization, right? Is that filters? Oops. See, this is a visualization. You take it in a focus mode, and then you go to the fields. You go to the fields, and you can add filters here, right? So this will be the filter for individual visualization, right? So individual visualization, one tab, all tabs, okay? Remember that part. All right, so I'll go back. I'll click on filters. I'll go back to the 4th tab, and I want to remove, right? I want to delete this filter. Okay, I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna close it, right? But let's see. I covered the filters, right? Now, next topic. In this case, we were looking just at the dashboards. And for you, I prepared another dashboard as an example. So let's take a look. I saved another dashboard with multiple tabs. It's in, let's see. Let's see if it's this one. Oops, open. Sometimes it's a little bit stubborn. Nope, that's not it. Give me a second. So it's not it. I created the dashboard with multiple tabs for you. So it's this one, probably. Flames and weather dashboard. Yes, there we go. This is the dashboard that I created for you. Okay. So here I've got the title. Here I've got the image, right? The next one, I'm showing the average total claim amount. Then I'm showing the average total claim amount by the location, right? Location code, rural, suburban, urban. All right. So here I went a little bit further. I'm showing it by location code. Then I took it by the vehicle class, and I'm showing the total claim amount. Then I'm showing, this is a summary column, I'm showing the overall total claim amount for the 4-door car, luxury car, and etc. Right? Then I went a little bit more crazier and I decided to show it by coverage type inside the inside the car type. So those are the visualizations. And in this one, I went even more crazy. So if you look at this, I need to go to the edit mode. I can show you the specific visualization, but I believe I also created the recording for it. So if you go to properties for this visualization, right? Well, first of all, fields. What if you go to the not filters, fields. What am I doing? Okay, fields. I specify the column, right? So my columns are location code. For the rows, I'm going vehicle class and coverage, right? So that's that. Then for the values, I want the total claim amount. Those are the fields that I want to visualize. Then I went into properties, and the last column is a summary column. This is the colors that I want to use, right? And this is just the total claim amount. This is just for the summary, right? Then I can go to the chart. Those are the properties of the chart. But what I also did, something called the conditional visualization on it, right? So this one, I go to chart. Hold on. This is a total claim amount. And I can click on, this is what I did. Look. I'm going to go back. So this one, available data, I'm summarizing the data for the total claim amount. I'm gonna click here. And over here, I define the rules, right? So I clicked on add new rules and I define the rules. So what I want to do is, if the value is greater than 1000, I want to make my text red and I want to add the up arrow. And if it's less than 300, I want to show the text in green and a down arrow. Here I'm just defining the rules, okay? See that's how you define the rules, okay? You specify the text color, the fill color, and the indicator. So I use the arrow as an indicator. So this is the conditional, the conditional coloring that I did here. But anyway, so this is the stop. And please note, please take a note that I intentionally put the tab numbering. See, that's another one. I put all my models that I did in the week 6 assignment that I submitted. And this is what? Pie chart, right? Customer demographics breakdown. Then I want to look more into the total claim amount drivers. So I've got all of these visualizations, and now I'm well prepared to create the story, right? And because see this here, there is no way to control the animation. Like for instance, this is a page here. On this page, I want to see only this visualization first. In 5 more seconds, I want to see both of these. In another 5 seconds, I want to see 3 of them. And then in another 5 seconds, I want to see all 4. You cannot do that, right? There's no way to do animation, and there is no way to do the transition between these guys, right? So story is a narrative. But here is how you're gonna cheat, if you will, on the last assignment. So suppose that I did a great job on a week 7 assignment. Then, watch, I'm gonna go here. I open up my dashboard and my dashboard is ready. I'm gonna save this dashboard as a story. For right now, I'm gonna let's keep the slideshow template and I'll explain to you the different templates type. Basically, it has to do with a slideshow. It's like a PowerPoint presentation, similar to PowerPoint, where each slide is on a different canvas. Guided journey is all of these scenes. It's called a scene. It's gonna be on the same canvas, right? So that's the main difference. But I'm going to pick this one for right now. I'm gonna go select. Now I need to save the dashboard. And by default, it's gonna prefix the dashboard name with the word story. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna click on save. But note why save is not grayed out this time, because I'm saving it to my content. All right. I'm gonna click on save and watch what's happening. Oh, okay, I can replace existing. I already had this dashboard with the same name, maybe from last demo. But anyways, I replaced it, right? Now what? Take a look at this. Take a look, take a look. What was this? Title page. See, that's number 2. Each of this was a tab in my dashboard. Right? In here, it's called the scene. Right? The story consists of the scenes. This is the first scene, the second scene, right? The third, and there we go, right? So next thing you want to configure, you can configure when things appear, disappear within the same scene. Each scene has a timeline, right? In a story, every scene has a timeline. But before I show you that, I should have brought this to your attention that similar to dashboards, your story has this is a data that was used to build the dashboard. It was inherited here, right? So story knows which data to use because it came over from the it's the same data source that we use for the dashboard that was saved as a story, right? Let's say it this way. So do you see how nice it is? We define the navigation path at the data module. We don't have to define it again if you should use it, right? So we see all our columns and all our calculated columns that we created. And this is a selectable filter. And if you did not use the descriptive name, there is no way in the world to say what this is without going back to data module. Okay? So you have also calculations. You can add calculation here, but again, the calculation you add here will not be available in another dashboard where you use this same data module as a source. Just remember it, okay? So you can also add filters to the same tab or to all tabs, right? And then you have the edit mode and the view mode. You can undo some latest changes, but remember that if you make some changes and then you close the file, later on you reopen the file, you cannot undo the changes that you made before you close the file, all right? Okay, so it's saved. How do I know? Because there is no asterisk. Now for this here, for this scene, we're going to define, there are 4 objects. We'll define when they appear, disappear, and also the transitions. So this is how I open this scene timeline. There are 4 objects. At the moment, each scene duration is 5 seconds. See here? That shows where, this is a timeline. It shows when the object becomes visible. And in this case, all 4 become visible when you load the dashboard. And this is when they disappear. What I could do is, one way to do it is to just drag and drop the edge here, right? I drag and drop, and it shows me when this becomes visible. I want to see it at 2 seconds. So I'm gonna go play, 2 seconds, pass, and then I see this visualization, okay? Another way to do this would be, I click this, then I click on the properties, and in the properties, you can specify the animation. There is an animation type, and in here, entrance is, well, because I don't want to see this visualization from the very beginning. I want it to appear. So see here, you can specify when you want this to appear and the animation type. How is this visualization added, right? You can do it fade in, slide in, scale in, shrink in, and or pivot in. See, you have different type, different ways to show how it appears. Okay. Now you don't have to stick with 5 seconds. I can extend this to make it show longer, right? So suppose that this one I want to show at 3 seconds, but let's change the animation here. Instead of fade in, I'm just gonna select this, right? See what it will do? Oh, so this one, I selected this one, right? And animation, that one is fade in. Another one, instead of selecting fade in, I selected this one, the last one, right? Now let's do what I want to play this scene, right? I want to see what's going on, so I'm gonna put my timer back here, right? And let's see what's happening. Uh, so I specified this one, right? I don't want to see this one. Oops. Let's actually minimize this. Let's close this so we can see. That way we can see all of them. Oh, I have to scroll. So see this. So let's preview this one. So I'm playing this scene. Watch what's happening. Disappeared, and the other one. See, because see this one, what's happening here is that I extended the duration for one of the scene to 6 seconds, right? I did not extend all of them. I only extended one. So the other 3 disappeared, and the ones that I extended, it still shows. See that I can go back here. The second one I extended, and I specify how I wanted this to appear, right? So you notice that it appears differently from the way I made other visualizations appear, right? So let's take this, let's grab this guy here and see what it's doing. Oops, you can see how different it is. So I'm gonna put this in the middle so you can see the top and the bottom and compare. So I'm gonna play which, and this one is different. See this, it's different. So you can specify how visualization appears and how disappears, exit part. So like if I select this one here, right? I specified how it appears, but I can also specify how the visualization exit. See, there are different ways to specify exit. Like for example, I can do the slide out. See, I just showed you, it just showed how it works. You can specify the slide out to make it disappear. I let you play around with this. Well, this is just the timeline, okay? And similar to other similar to dashboard, you can add filters. You can add brand new visualizations, right? You've got the visualizations library. You've got the pins. You can add pin visualizations if you want to, right? So that was the. Now I'm gonna change the template, right? Or first of all, I'm gonna play this. So if I want to play all scenes, right? I have to turn that on. Now let's exit the let's go to preview mode, and I want to play. I hit the play button and I'm gonna play all scenes, but note what's gonna happen. It's using different canvas. Oh, see the animation, watch. See? I can specify how it exits and how it enters. This does not apply to another scene because I only defined it on one scene, okay? I'll let you play with it. All right? Okay, there we go. So now I'll save, I can save it. Let's go back to the edit mode. And now I'm gonna change the overall properties of this dashboard. Instead of slideshow, I want to do the guided journey. Okay? And for the guided journey, I can pick this one. So take a note now. What's happening? It's using the same canvas because if I go and if I play it, take a look at the difference. Look at the difference at how it plays, right? And I wanted it to play all of them, play all scenes, right? Oh, it's because I clicked on play scene. I need to click to play all, okay? So it's similar concepts. It's gonna play the scenes one at a time. Remember this one has a timeline, right? And I specify different way for these things to appear, disappear. Okay, and I explained to you why I like this specific layout because it's easier to take a screenshot, submit the screenshot for your grade, all right? Because I can take the screenshot of this whole thing. See that? And also, if I go to the edit mode on the very first here, see, very first one, I select it and it's gonna show me all of this, all of your scenes here. See? So I know that I have 5 scenes. It's clear what I have. That's just one way. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to slides. But there is something that I showed you that not in the slide. The types of how the exit and entrance type. These properties, there are a couple properties that I showed you today, is something that I discovered recently. Okay. So this one, remember the transition style? You can select any, but I like what I just showed you because it's much easier to take a screenshot of all things. Okay. You may add, you may apply filters, you may customize the transitions, regardless of which transition style you select. Here I'm just showing you that uh, it's just an interface, giving you a little bit overview of the interface, right? That we went over with you. Here I'm talking about the same timeline, but what I did not show on the slide is what I showed you. You can specify the way that the elements appear and disappear, right? Different ways. All right. Okay. I showed you how to save your dashboard as a story. You want to keep in mind that So you save the dashboard as a story. Any changes that you make to the dashboard afterwards are not going to apply to the story. So do that when you're absolutely ready, right? Right? Do that when you know that you're not going to make any more changes to the dashboard. And just go export it to the story. Very easy. Last semester, several students reported that they could not get the pins to work in a story. What is the workaround? Get them to work in the dashboard, then save the dashboard as a story, right? Working smart. All right. This just shows you that every tab in a dashboard is going to be a scene in a story, okay? And this is, remember, this is a playlist, okay? So, do we have questions? First, I'm going to see if we have questions. Let me look at the chat. A copy. Yeah, you're gonna, okay, this is what's gonna happen here. I'm recording this session, right? Uh, the recording needs to be converted. There is a process for it. Then, well, because it's almost, it's a long session, it's gonna take several hours before I receive the recording. At some point, either later tonight or tomorrow, I'm gonna send the slides to your faculty, right? Because I cannot post it in your classroom. So I'll send this slides and I'm gonna send the link to the recording. And then you're gonna get it via announcement or email. It depends on your instructor's preferred method of contacting you. Okay? So you're gonna get this deck and you're gonna get the recording. And I forgot to say that you will need to watch this recording or parts of it multiple times. Okay? More questions? Before I showed you something that I did not show in the spring and in the fall. There's something cool that I discovered recently, but I didn't show it to the former students. This is gonna be the first night when I show something cool here. Okay, take a look here. Well, first of all, I'm gonna save it and I'm gonna close it, right? Okay, so let's just close it, and I want to, oops, let's close it. Now let's see the this is a dashboard that we created earlier today, right? So this tab here, I have four visualizations on this tab, on each tab, right? Let's flip it to the edit mode. I'm gonna go to the second tab. Well, let's add another tab just to make it look nicer. And I'm going to put, I like my 2x2, and watch what I'm gonna do. I never showed it to students before. So I'm gonna go, it's in a visualizations or in the widget advanced, something like that. So let's see, let's go to widgets and it's gonna be here, advanced. What is this? Take a look at this. Drag and drop, right? I placed it here. Oops. I want to place it in the C. I line up it with the arrow to place it with in this panel. What is this? This is an inner dashboard. So you can have a dashboard inside the dashboard, right? Like for example, suppose that I want to display the average for certain columns, right? So, and I want to put them like together, so that way I can kind of like navigate between them. See? Right? To see that there are subtabs. I have a dashboard inside the dashboard, and I need to play with it together to see how filtering works. But I'm just showing you that something that I have not showed to the students before. This is new, okay? And you can add visualizations to each subtab, right? Like for example, let's say I want to do the summary visualization, right? Let's find the summary here on this subtab. Oops. See, you have to line it up against the arrow. Oops. I have to play with it, but I'm showing you what can be done. See, on this tab, I put this visualization, right? I can drag and drop like this, resize it like this, or line it up with an arrow, right? Or I can just, oh, here it is. If I click, see this position, this whole sub dashboard. Here, this is just see, this is just the visualization. And what I could do, I could drag and drop the column from the data, or I can just pick my columns in here. See that? So for example, I want to see the average total claim amount. There we go. Then in the next tab, I want to do another summary visualization. So I just go to visualizations and I'm gonna find another summary, right? Like here. Oh, here we go. I found the arrow. Okay. Oh, this is because I picked 2 by 2. That's why it's doing it small. It's because I picked 2 by 2. What I could also do is I could change the layout of it. Take a look at this. These are the properties are the same as the properties of this outer. See this? For this tab here, I can also edit the title. I can duplicate and I can change the template or delete, right? The same options. So see this? Here I have that total claim amount. In here, I can do something else. Like for example, average, let's pick something different. Not sale channel, not vehicle class, but I need something that is numeric, like income, right? Income. What's the problem? Because I have to change how the column is summarized. See, same concept applies. I want to see the average. So see this? Average income. See? Well, I changed the size of it. I should not have done it. I should have positioned it on an arrow, but that's okay. But what I'm trying to say is that each dashboard can have a nested dashboard. Okay? So just know that. See that I added the dashboard control inside the dashboard. Because sometimes I could have some average here and I want to group them together and I want to be able to navigate here. See, I don't want this to take the whole page perhaps. I want to put them in a sub dashboard. See, this is something new that I discovered and you are the first group of students who got to see that. There is no slide about that. Okay, but I just wanted to show you. And similar, see this? You have the properties and you can change the similar properties for the dashboard, for each tabs, etc. For the fill color and appearance, etc., right? Because the properties that you define on outer dashboard did not apply to the inner dashboard. You would have to redefine those properties. This is a tab label. This I can change the color of my title, blue, but that applies only to this inner dashboard. It does not apply to the outer dashboard. See? And I'm gonna need to do research on how the filters work, right? But I bet you can add the filters here also. Should be the way. I need to research that part because this is something that I just ran into. Oh yeah, take a look at this. I clicked on filters that expand these filters here. See? The filters are added at the top, not to the inner. But just for you to be familiar, you can add the sub dashboard inside another dashboard, okay? And the filters, you define them here. They should apply to the sub dashboard also. So what you could do from here, you can try to reproduce something like this, right? Then you can go to this to the data source. Oops, data source, and you can pick any column. Like for example, I want to look at the let's say the state, right? The state code, or actually even location code better, because we know that location code affects the average claim amount, right? So I'm gonna pick the location code and I'm gonna filter all tabs and I'm gonna select the urban and let's see what's it's gonna do. Done. Oh, see this? When I define the filter here, it also applies the filter to this sub dashboard. See that? I find the filter here. It applies it to all tabs within this dashboard, right? And it also applies the filter to this sub dashboard. You see that? Again, how did I add that? I went into the not custom widgets, but it's in the widgets. That one right here. And this is advanced. See this? So that's the standard where your text and where your image is. Those are the shapes, and this is what I just added. Okay? Again, there is no slide on it because this is my recent discovery, and I figured out that let's hit people by surprise. Let's show it. Something new, okay? So this is new, and also the transition type. Like when you remember when I showed you the timeline for the object in a story, I showed the timeline before, but I didn't show the way that objects can enter and exit. That's a new property that I discovered and I decided to show you today, okay? And this is a good thing. This is really cool when you can put one dashboard inside another. And when you apply the filter, it also applies to this inner. See that? Okay, this is really nice. So anything, and see that, oh, and also take a look at it. I just noticed that. When I selected it, it shows that I have one filter, see? It shows that, okay? So, are there any questions? That was a little bonus for you. Any questions? Anyone? And you can unmute yourself to ask as well. Yes, let me see. Let me see. Oh, okay. I'm so glad that you like it, but yeah, I'm gonna give you the slides, okay? I try not to lie. Okay? I do my best. So, yes, if there are no questions, then you're gonna call it at night, and you guys have fun. And for sure, I'm gonna see you in your future courses, hopefully, right? So I'm gonna stop this recording. Recording. What is it? Stop recording. Stop recording. And yes, stop